The Legend of Legacy HD Remaster is officially launching onto the Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, and PC via Steam on March 22nd of next year. And today I wanted to provide everyone with a little bit of an introduction as to what it is that they can expect with this traditional RPG, turn-based RPG that originally released back on the 3DS consoles. Many years ago, the game originally came out. I played it when it originally launched, and it served pretty much a decent role as an RPG experience, but ultimately it felt a little bit short, like some features were missing. Well, it turns out that some changes are going to be had for this specific remaster, and I certainly think is worth taking a closer look, especially if you're interested on it all the way back in the 3DS days, as it makes its way now into the Nintendo Switch, PlayStation consoles, and to PC with brand new mechanics and certainly plenty of quality live improvements. I'm going to be leaving a link in the description below for the official blog update where they provided us with a little bit of a brand new, bigger picture as to what this game is trying to fulfill. And the developers also dropped both NIS of America and Furyu, the original Japanese developers. They dropped a trailer as well, so I'm going to be rolling that in the background. First and foremost, I mentioned that as discovered 10 years ago when it comes to the story, the islands of Avalon are shrouded in mystery. It is said that the continent was forged by the gods themselves with plenty of elements, and is home to many fabled treasures with immense powers. Numerous braves and souls have attempted to venture and to investigate the lands of Avalon, and will you be hoping to be next? Follow the stories of 7 upcoming heroes as they descend upon the uncontrolled lands to fulfill their unique desires and requests. Each of them have their very own individual skills and stories to tell. Manage battle formations and instruct specific combat roles to develop the upper hand in every single battle to seize the victory. As you utilize the ancient powers of elementals by forging contact with mid-battles bosses to call down with powerful skills. Take part in an epic journey unlike any other. When it comes to new key features, they mention that legendary storytelling illustrator Tomomi Kobayashi and the renowned composer Masaki Hamamazu and the writer Masato Kato, plus the designer Kyoji Koizumi, all work together to create one wonderful story. If you don't necessarily know, they are relatively popular Japanese creators and video game developers. So they have been around for many years. Some of them worked even on SNES games. So relatively a talented, studied development group that they managed to put together for the original launch, and this remaster is certainly getting some tweaks from these famed developers. As they also mentioned that 7 heroic journeys, each characters in the Legend of Legacy HD Remaster has their own motivation for exploring Avalon, as their very own individual conclusions of the story and resolution can be discovered. Play through each one of the characters to see how their tales will unfold. And they also mentioned that combat innovations will come in the way of battle enthusiasts can discover new levels of challenging during these combat encounters, using formations and stances to assign flexible combat roles instead of fixed classes. One of the things that the original launch did to mixed reviews, I would wager, was the fact that because you don't necessarily have full control of classes, where you typically, let's say you're a warrior, so you can learn to use big heavy swords, big heavy axes, swords and shields, those kind of things. Those are usually based off of the role in the class. Well, this game, what it does is that it focuses on formations to basically have different positions on the floor whenever you're engaging enemies, like suppress, attack, guard, ambush, delay, all those kind of options. And the more you use them, the more powerful you become with them. So you can have one enemy, one of your characters, one of your party members, continually get powered up by just simply using ranged attacks. And they don't necessarily have to be a bow user or a gunner or anything like that. They could just simply stay at a distance and be continually powered through their long range. This is something that we actually get a very quick glimpse of in the trailer where they showcase 8 different weapon styles, and the weapon styles basically are what you get to kind of play around with. They mentioned that there's axes, long swords, shields, bows, spears, short swords, fists, and even staves for, of course, casters as well. And that is something that you do get to see relatively well, where casters in this original launch back in the day weren't necessarily considered powerful because they spent mana and SP, and ultimately you just wanted to use blade users because, or weapon, more combat oriented, close quarter combat characters because they were essentially more powerful because they didn't have those limitations. Well, this time around, casters are getting a little bit of a tweak, whether it is through mana regeneration or spells costing a little bit less, so they can also become viable in most normal encounters. At the same time, they're also introducing the Awakened state, which provides with new skills in the middle of combat. You essentially have a character's bar completely fill as they become awakened, and that basically triggers them to be able to do way more elemental damage that they simply didn't have access to before. And that is also something that we do get to see showcased in the trailer, where they are able to dish out plenty of elemental damage that they simply didn't have access to until their bar was fulfilled. Lastly, they also mention that as you earn the power of elementals, you'll be able to change the world around you and discover a story of lost characters. So yes, elementals this time around, especially major story plots, they will be part of those stories, because originally that was one of the criticisms as well, that maybe they didn't necessarily play a big role as originally advertised. And this time around, it seems like those characters that are kind of like story driven will actually play a bigger role and actually provide some sort of a nuance to the story that you simply didn't already have. Now, for me personally, when I played this game back in the 3DS, I believe I might have reviewed it and I gave it just a flat 7. It was a pretty good RPG for what it was, but again, shortcomings with just maybe you didn't feel too attached to one specific character or any one specific part of the story. You could have gone multitudes of hours, 5-10 hours, without seeing any really major developments happening in the story, even as if you're just focusing on the main story, not grinding or anything like that, and you just didn't see any major changes happening. So maybe those things are being sped up a little bit. Some of those changes are being brought into this title, and hopefully they will make this Legend of Legacy HD Remastered something more of an appealing game than the original was, for sure. Once again, this game is going to be releasing onto the Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, and PC via Steam. Remember, no Xbox once again, on March 22nd of 2024. If you're brand new to my channel though, be sure to leave a like and subscribe, hit the bell to receive notifications when the videos go up, and as always, thank you so much for watching. See ya.